Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports Ball with Palmer. On this episode, I am going to be recapping the Royals weekend series with the Detroit Tigers and then looking ahead as they will continue their 9 game homestand against the LA Angels and also the Minnesota Twins. Although, again, I'll be specifically highlighting their series with the Angels. Now, this weekend was honestly really frustrating because it felt like they could have and honestly should have taken this series with the Detroit Tigers. But now, you kept hearing it on the broadcast, especially on the Fox broadcast on Saturday, and then even on the Royals' actual broadcast with FanDuel. Uh, just saying like, oh, the Royals must win. Like, I'm not okay. Yes, should they win? Like, should your goal to be to win every game? I mean, with especially 25 games left, that's not possible. You're not going to go 25-0. It's going to be more about can you win series? Can you stack wins? Can you stack series wins? Honestly, again, the homestand. Okay, you're playing a 9 game homestand. Obviously, right now you're 1-2, but can you finish 6-3? Maybe even 7-2 if you sweep both these series with the Angels and Twins. But right now, their playoff hopes are kind of, even though they had a really good series against the White Sox to take the series and really keep their hopes alive because it was a must-win series. Now, again, Detroit, they are really good. Obviously, they're in first place, and they're in first place for a reason and have one of the best records in the American League for a reason. But they played these but also that's my takeaway too is they played these two series really tough against the Tigers. They did not make it an easy series victory for them. So hey, fine, whatever. We lost. I thought we would lose, but and especially after Friday, like I thought they could take it because Friday's game was really frustrating because once again, just to kind of sum up, they lost 5-3. But once again, early lead, early runs in the first, although in this case only the first, but where they have runs in like the first or the second inning and then don't score the rest again. They had a 3-run first. Yaz again led off with a home run. His fourth now since joining leadoff, specifically fourth leadoff home run since joining the Royals, and he's only been with the Royals for a month. So 4 leadoff home runs in a month is just crazy. Like he has been a huge acquisition for this team. And then Garcia followed up with a 2-run home run in the first inning as well, and the Royals led 3-0. And you're going up against Chris Paddock and who's honestly a below average starter, and then you didn't score anything the rest of the game. Now again, Seth Lugo did not look sharp at all. His struggles continue. I don't think it's an injury, and granted, players don't always necessarily say, but even the team has said it's not an injury. He's not dealing with an injury, but his like arm slot, like it's really inconsistent right now. So I honestly think it's fatigue. Like they need to skip a start or two in a row and just give him some extra rest because if you are going to and want to make the playoffs, Seth Lugo has to be better. You can't keep getting starts from Lugo like this if you really expect and want to make the playoffs. Hey, it's almost like, hey, play tag pitcher because in the first couple innings, like he would get the first 2 outs super fast and then couldn't get the last out, like struggled to get the last out. So it's like, oh, hey, let him come in and get the first 2 outs and then tag someone in and then bring them back out. But it all started there. I mean, again, Royals had the 3 run first, and then Lugo looked shaky in the first, but again, he got out of it, and you're like, okay. And then we had the 3 run inning, and you're like, all right. And then again, second, boom, you're like, all right, we're gonna get a shutdown inning, and then boom, Tigers scored 2 and are only down a run, and then in the fourth, they take the lead, and didn't look back. And once again, Vinny's struggles continue. And even with Lugo struggling in this game, giving up 4 runs and only going 4 innings, like the bullpen came in and okay, kind of looking like okay, Clark gave up the home run in the 8th, but it wasn't a bad pitch. Like again, sometimes you just get got. But the bullpen held it. They held it close, allowing the Royals offense to try and find a way to put more runs on the board and win the game. Now there were several times where, man, Winslow Perez made a great play in center. Carpenter there in the made a great play to rob Izzy, and again, kind of complaining like, man, if only the fences were like a couple more feet in, like that would have been a 3-run homer, and the Royals would have been up 6-4 in the 5th, and it's like, man, but he just made a great play. Like that's baseball. Like that, like those. I'm not like it stinks, but I'm not mad because like it's baseball. That happens. Now, like it would have been nice, like if he would have gotten, because even if it would have hit the top of the wall, so it wouldn't have been a home run, but it would have scored 2 and given the Royals the lead. So, and again, with the way the bullpen was pitching on Friday night, I'm confident they would have held that lead. Again, they only gave up, but it was just another one of, we wasted an opportunity, and then they score and take advantage. Like, of course that happens. Like, again, in the 7th, Yaz led off with a double, and then Bobby did the team thing and got him over to third, although it almost would have been better if Bobby had found a way to score him, and then that would have tied the game. I feel like that almost would have been better because then, again, Vinny, and I love Vinny. He has been, he's one of the best hitters, although, is there a little bit argument that he is a little bit overrated? Just slightly? He obviously, you don't luck your way to a 100 RBI season and, 30 homer season, which he's not at 30 homers yet. He's close. He's probably going to get to 30 homers. Like, you don't necessarily luck your way, but at the same time, there's been countless times he has come up with, and specifically this situation, a runner on third and less than 2 outs. And he either strikes out or pops out. And especially what killed it in this situation is he struck out. He didn't even put the ball in play. Like, he didn't get a sac fly, and he led the majors last year in sac flies. And they mentioned it on the broadcast, and he will say like, "Oh, he needs to be better." But yeah, what's he doing to improve in that situation? Like, again, I love Vinny. Obviously, he's a really good hitter, really good run producer, but it does seem like a lot of those RBIs come with, especially either no outs, but the runners on second, or even especially no outs and the runners on third, and he gets a sac fly. Like, so I don't know kind of what happens when there's now 1 out that he doesn't end up coming through. And I saw this on Twitter. And again, talking about it, like, Vinny kind of has to knock in, because now he went with the pitch and it looked like it might fall and especially probably with Vinny's speed, he would have gotten a double. And obviously, Yaz is doing the thing. He was going halfway so that if the ball did drop, he could probably score on that play. But again, Carpenter just made a really good play and got it. So again, can't really complain because the defense, the Tigers, they're played to make those plays too. So, but Vinny has a hard RBI total because he has the most runners in scoring position plate appearances in baseball. But Pete Alonso is number 2. So Vinny and Pete are 1 and 2 with the most plate appearances with a runner in scoring position. But obviously Alonso's up there in RBIs too, but Alonso smokes. Like, he comes through way more often than not than Vinny has in those situations. So, like, again, of course, Vinny, like, if you have that many, again, not luck, but also if you have that many plate appearances with a runner in scoring position, like, just kind of baseball more often than not, you'll knock in a run somehow. Again, whether it's a sac fly, especially if the runners are on third, or even a ground out, something. Uh, you can still score with the out. So, but he just needs to improve in those situations. And again, he will tell you he sucks in those situations. But what is he doing to improve in those situations? And honestly, I haven't seen it. And now I don't think there needs to be a conversation of do they need to potentially move away. Like, I think they should extend Vinny, but he does have to be better in those situations. Oh, and I meant to mention this. I forgot to mention this on the last episode, but in that last game against Chicago, Salvi passed Amos Otis on the Royals for third all time in RBIs with 993. So, hey, congrats, Salvi, for moving into third. Which he is nearing the end of the career, he probably only is going to play 1, maybe 2 more seasons. So it'll be interesting if he can end up in second place or even set. I haven't looked up who. Well, I'm sure George Brett is up there, but which that honestly might be a high hill to climb. But hey, again, so congrats, Salvi, for that accomplishment. And then looking then now at the second game against the White Sox, which was on Saturday night, which was nationally televised on Fox. Stephen Kolek got called up and pitched in Noah Cameron's spot, which, again, I'm kind of glad they skipped because this is the most innings pitched for Cameron in his career. So I'm kind of glad they skipped the start because his last 2 starts are kind of rough. Again, I think that's just rookie. Like, obviously, he hasn't pitched as much, so he's probably a little bit more worn out than he normally is. So I believe it was good that they skipped his start so you can give him that extra rest and he can be that pitcher you need him to be here down the stretch because he has had a really good season. Again, every pitcher is going to have a rough stretch, some rough starts. Even Tarek Skubal, now he obviously looked fantastic on Sunday, but even Tarek Skubal is going to have rough starts, so even the best. So, yeah, it kind of stinks, especially that they're coming at this point in the season, but he's a rookie. He'll be fine. And again, I feel like him having this extra rest is really going to help. So, but Stephen Kolek went 6 innings. Whew, boy, did the Royals need it. Boy, and especially with the bullpen being overworked and exhausted, giving 6 innings, just, fantastic. But who really of course, ended up shining in this game, Bobby Witt Jr., and he also extended his hitting streak. On Friday, he extended it to 17 games. And then on Saturday, he extended it to 18 games. I mean, Bobby is just on a heater right now. But he had a massive 2-run home run in the ninth inning to give the Royals the lead. And then Estevez came in and slammed the door shut. Estevez has been so good this year. But, oh, thank you, Bobby. And even in a kind of quote-unquote down year, he is still third in MVP voting. I mean, I love Cal, and, I mean, Aaron Judge is good, but Bobby's a top 2 player in baseball. Now, again, unfortunately, even like last year, Judge had like a career year. So it's like, and then now Cal's having a career year, and Cal's probably going to win MVP. So, like, unfortunately, in these 2 years, Bobby's just run into, Judge having a career year and Cal having a career year. So, but Bobby is going to win an MVP before his career's over. I really feel like he's going to win one. So, but Bobby played hero. Oh, thank you, Bobby. And then yesterday, I mean, they lost 5-0. Skubal went 7 shutout innings on them. But Bobby was able to extend his hitting streak. So, hey, that was good. But other than that, really no highlights. Walker was good for the first 4 innings, and then it all collapsed in the 5th, and a 4-run 5th inning for the Tigers, and then that was just the difference. Like I said, Skubal just absolutely shut them down. Went 7 shutty, and Tigers took the series then. So, but again, other than Sunday, which they lost 5-0, it was a really competitive series. So I am happy to see that because, again, Detroit's one of the best teams in the American League and in the league right now. So you played them tough. You didn't just get steamrolled. So you lost 5-0 in the last game, but hey, you played them tough. And again, what kind of stinks is you had Friday's game. Well, I don't want to say had, but like you almost won Friday's game. You could have, and I still feel like should have won Friday's game. And then if you would have had Friday and then still won Saturday, you're taking the series, and then it's kind of like, oh, we're going up against Skubal. Oh, well, we've already won the series. Like, it's okay. But, oh, well. Now, as we look ahead as they continue their 9-game homestand against the Angels and Twins this week. Now, again, looking at it, broad view, again, win weeks or at least be 500, and the Royals are 500 because they had taken the series against Chicago, and then they at least didn't get swept against the Tigers, so they went 3-3 last week. Again, would it have been nice to have gone 4-2 by either sweeping Chicago or then, okay, you still, now it would have been nice, but again, you took the series in a must-win series. But would it have been nice to have taken this series against Detroit? Yeah. Now, what I say, like, kind of struggles. Texas now has overtaken, and that's like a little bit frustrating. But like they've won 5 in a row, while the Royals have been, obviously 3-3. So the Rangers have actually leapfrogged the Royals in the standings. But win weeks, win homestands. Now, so if they can go 6-3 or 7-2 here on this homestand, great. Like this week, go 4-2. At least go 4-2. And I feel like they definitely have a better chance because the Angels aren't good and the Twins are a shell of their former selves, even though the Twins took that series when they last played in Minnesota. you kind of had a little bit more of like, all right, those the players got caught up there after the deadline, and it's like, all right, we got a shot, and just kind of like that energy and that has faded as kind of predicted. So I really like their chances to potentially sweep both series, but at least take both. And I feel like they're going to sweep one of these series, though. I don't want to say for sure, but I feel like they're going to at least sweep one of these series. But looking now at this Angel series, the Royals are off today, so they will play Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then the weekend against the Twins. But looking at the Angel series, so tonight, or sorry, not tonight, tomorrow, Michael Lorenzen is pitching for the Royals. And at least for these first two games, the Angels have not announced. And then just skipping ahead to Thursday for them, they have announced Kyle Hendricks, but then Ryan Berger is going tomorrow for the Royals. And then at least right now, he is the announced starter, but Seth Lugo is announced as the starter for Thursday for the Royals. Again, I hope they skip this start and one more because I really feel like Lugo needs some rest. He is fatigued. I mean, I get it. It's the Angels, and he should go out and dominate them, but I don't want to take any chances. I really feel like they need to skip his start and potential and probably even his next start. Now, with that being said, even with Lugo, again, the Angels just aren't a good team. And only because of that, they might not sweep because they might lose that Lugo start. But I'm confident Lorenzen and then definitely in Berger that they can at least take 2 out of 3. So I'll at least say they'll take 2 out of 3 here from the Angels. But yeah, they really should. And then I'm also going to kind of look at some of the bigger series coming up, at least Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and even kind of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like I said, the Braves and the Cubs, that's a kind of a big series, at least for the Cubs to try and keep their playoff spot. Then you have Cleveland and Boston as both are fighting for a wild card. Kind of big series, New York and Houston squaring off in Houston. Seattle and Tampa, as Tampa's like barely clinging on to a playoff spot. Kind of a big one, the Mets and the Tigers, as that's two of the top teams in the league squaring off in Detroit. So kind of looking forward to those series, seeing what happens. As far as impact to the Royals, again, the Cleveland and Boston series, but Texas and Arizona play. So hoping Arizona can take that series. Toronto and Cincinnati, although it does look like Toronto's most likely going to win the East. The Yankees and Houston series, because again, you're behind the Yankees, and the Mariners are only a couple games back, so you potentially could be fighting with Houston for that playoff spot. And then Seattle, Tampa. Seattle's kind of struggled here a little bit recently, so interesting to see if Tampa. I mean, I know Tampa's behind you, but if they can beat Seattle while you beat up on the Angels, that would be great. And then again, looking at the standings here, with their series loss to the Tigers, they are 9 back. Again, don't think they're going to win the division. And then they are a game and a half then up on Cleveland in the division standings. And then with the series loss, even with they end up now losing the season series to the Tigers. But then looking at the wild card, so the Yankees are in the top spot. And then followed by the Red Sox, and then the Mariners, and then, like I said, the Rangers ended up leapfrogging. Now they're only a half game up, but I mean, going 5-1 against them is huge. And honestly, I thought they were going to go away after that series, so I'm kind of surprised that they're in this position. And then so the Royals are a half game back, and they're a game and a half up on Cleveland, and then 2.5 up on Tampa. So again, the important thing is keep stacking wins, keep stacking series wins. So, and if you keep doing that, you can put pressure on those teams ahead of you. I mean, yeah, technically the Rangers, but I still think they'll end up passing them again. But you can put pressure then on the Mariners, the Red Sox, and the Yankees to have to kind of play perfect to hold you off. Because if you keep winning, they're going to see that, and they might feel a little bit of pressure to keep winning, and that could potentially fall. And then in kind of big news for the Royals, Cags is getting recalled as the rosters are expanding here in September. So Cags is getting recalled, but then Carter Jensen, their number 2 prospect, which obviously Cags is number 1 because he still technically has prospect status. So Carter Jensen is getting the call up. So it'll be interesting. It definitely gives them more depth, and so I'm excited to see what they end up doing with those 2 guys, because hopefully now, and at least me, I was kind of hoping they didn't call up Carter Jensen until next season, but I mean, if they feel like he can help, I mean, what am I to say? So hopefully he can come up and just, but also they're not going to be calling him up just to ride the pine. He's going to be playing. So hopefully now maybe he gets more of the primary catching duties, because Salvi has fallen off here a little bit since Fermin got traded. Because, I mean, not that Fermin was the primary catcher, but he was catching more often than not, and Salvi was either DHing or playing at first. So then hopefully Carter is then catching more often than not to allow Salvi to DH and just kind of get a little bit extra rest again, like whether it's at DH or playing first base. So, and then it'll be interesting how they use Cags if they kind of only bat him against righties, like say put him in right and Yaz in left, and then obviously Izzy in center, and just kind of like platoon them and then hit them in the 6th or 7th hole, and then even Carter down there, and it still lengthens the lineup. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here, because if you can get good performances from them here down the stretch, it is definitely going to boost the team and their chances of making the playoffs. Now, I still believe and I am confident that they will make the playoffs, but that's not huge, but the series lost, obviously, to Detroit doesn't help. So, and then they do have some tough series, like they'll have to play the Phillies, and then they'll have to play Seattle here, and then Seattle here and Toronto here. So those are going to be some tough series, but they do then they'll play the Angels again, they'll play the A's again, they'll play the Twins. Well, I'm not a big it's a big series, but as far as at least I feel like toughness, now granted for still some a little bit, Cleveland has played us a little bit tough, but I am confident we can beat them. So we'll see. This is what you wanted to have here in September. You are 3 games back. You are right in the mix. You are going to be playing some important, meaningful baseball here in September, which for a lot of my life, the Royals have not played meaningful games here in September. So I hope they can do it. So go take this series from the Angels and keep staying competitive and pointed in the right direction. So with that, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and go Royals!